Hey everyone, so today's video is about some of the latest releases from the Drugstore, eyeshadow palettes in particular. Some of them are quite recent and some of them have been out for a while. And there are a lot of Makeup Revolution stuff here because I really like the brand. I do get a lot of my makeup from there, especially eyeshadows. I also have some Makeup Academy stuff and I have Colourpop in here as well. So we have 7 eyeshadow palettes to get through. Let's get into the video. So the first one, I'll get straight into it. I've already done a tutorial using this palette, and it's this mint chocolate palette from I Heart Makeup, which is Makeup Revolution basically. And they've got a bunch of palettes in this line, and this is one of their latest ones. Like I said, I've already done a tutorial on this eyeshadow palette, but here's another look if you haven't seen it already. So it's got some really nice greens in there. These are shimmers. They've got a mix of mattes as well, really nice transition colours and for the crease to make a good smoky eye. You can get a nice neutral look out of this. You've got pops of colour as well, and I would like to use this one at some point. And as with most Makeup Revolution chocolate bar palettes, it does have a smell. I don't know if it's in my head, but I think there is a mint smell to it as well. And just for the record, I really don't like mint chocolate. Really don't like mint chocolate. So I'm not keen on the smell on this one. But you've got some good, decent shades here, and I think this was $8.99. Okay, so we have another chocolate bar palette here. This is the chocolate rose gold palette. This is the one that's supposedly a dupe for the Huda Beauty rose gold palette. So all of these chocolate bar palettes, they come with a really big mirror. They come with one of these sponge applicators, which I always throw out. And they come with one of these name sheets, so you know what they're all called. So these are the shades, and again you can see there are some textured shadows here, just like the Huda Beauty palette. I don't have the Huda palette. This will do for me. I'm not that crazy on Huda, to be honest. Oh, did I just say that? Yeah, I did. And we've got again some good matte shades here, all along here, and a few dotted around. Again, you can get good neutral eye makeup looks with a pop of colour if you want. It's a good all-rounder. So that is the rose gold palette. And the last of the chocolate bar palettes that I have is the chocolate Elixir palette. And again, this is a dupe for the ABH Modern Renaissance palette. So the packaging is very similar. It's hard to tell the difference between these two. So this is the rose gold. You can see it's extra shiny, and this is the Elixir, which has a more brushed metallic finish. So that's the Elixir palette. That's the rose gold palette. So this one I would say is probably my favourite out of the lot, simply because I can see myself getting a lot of use out of this. It's got a lot of matte shades in there, really warm tone. This is very on trend for the moment, especially for autumn. You do have some shimmer here, this one and this one. These are the only two shimmers, and these highlights, even the highlights, the larger pans here and here, they're matte. But I think if you're going to get only one out of these three chocolate bar palettes, this is the one to get. And this is the palette that I'm using on my eyes today. I have got 4 of these shades. I used Latte in the crease, and then this shade called Carrot Cake to deepen up the crease, Sweet all over the lid, Chestnut in the outer V, and that was my eye look. Okay, and then the final Makeup Revolution palette that I have is the Soph X palette. This is the one collaboration that they did with Sophie Does Nails. I think her name's Sophie Does Nails on YouTube. And this palette has been out for a while. I've actually had it for a while. You can see all the dirty fingerprints on there. Can you see it? But this is such a lovely palette. It's a really good all-rounder. There's a lot of shimmers in here as well. It's not just mattes like the Elixir palette. A bunch of shimmers in here. So you've got really nice duochrome. I can't wait to use this one. And they all feel really buttery. The shimmers feel really buttery. The mattes, they don't always swatch really well, but they work really well on the eyes. When you dip into them with a brush, you do get a little bit of kickback. You just need to dust it off. It's not a big deal. These shadows work really well on the eyes. It doesn't really matter how they swatch as long as they work on the eyes themselves. So there you go. You've got a matte black. You've got some highlight shades. Good crease colours here. Look, you could just have a palette with these 4 shades and you'd be good to go. These 4 are matte. And then you've got a pop of shimmers here, this purple. I've had good use out of this palette, and again, this would probably be my second favourite palette out of the Makeup Revolution palettes that I've shown you today. So shall we step away from Makeup Revolution just for a second and go to my other obsession, which is Colourpop. I only have one palette to show you. I do have another one coming in the post and it hasn't arrived yet, which is what I'm really annoyed about. It's taken quite a while to get here, and that is called the, what's it called? You Had Me at Hello palette. And again, it's a very neutral palette with a lot of mauvey purpley tones in there, which look really good, but this is completely opposite to that. So this is the My Little Pony eyeshadow palette. Look at that packaging. This woman's probably looking at me. Why are you looking at me, bruv? So this is the My Little Pony palette. This is just the outer box, and then the inner box looks like this. So there's no mirror in this one. It's a very bright palette. It's definitely not everyday wear. It's definitely not a neutral palette, but it's a good one to have in your collection. And I think, to be honest, I got sold on just the packaging on this one. It's one of these that I do have to hide from my daughter because she thinks it's for her. You do have a duochrome here, a really nice teal shimmer shade here. There are a couple of mattes dotted around, but I didn't get this palette for the mattes. I got it for the pops of colour, the shimmers. This yellow looks amazing. I think that with maybe this in the crease and you're good to go. And then you've got this deepish, it's like a purpley shade, but it is like a satin tint, but you can also use it to deepen up the outer V. So that was the Colourpop palette, and I think it's a really good one to have in your collection if you're a fan of bright pops of colour. Speaking of bright pops of colour, Makeup Academy have come out with some eyeshadow palettes. I showed you one in my last haul, which was this one, the Burning Embers Palette. You can see I've had some use out of this one. They're really great eyeshadows. You do get some light shades in here that I know I won't get any use out of, maybe a highlight shade in there. All of these I get good use out of, and a lot of these are textured creamy shimmer shades. But you already know about that palette. The new one that they've come out with is called the Tropical Oceana Palette. Look at that. So if you want pops of colour, this is the one to go for. You have this, and you've got the Chocolate Elixir palette with all your mattes. You're good to go. Typically bright mattes, especially blues, are difficult to get right. This is perfect for anyone who wants to go to an Indian wedding. For Asian weddings, we always go for bright colours. Anything like that, any sort of Indian Asian event where you're wearing Asian clothes, you need bright pop of colour. This palette covers it all. £8 for all of this. Why wouldn't you buy it? So that's a wrap for this video. Those are the palettes that I've had my eye on for a while, and they're all from the drugstore. Yes, Colourpop isn't a drugstore, but drugstore price, come on. I'm very happy with my purchases. Let me know which one of these were your favorites, and if you want me to do a tutorial on any of these palettes, then just leave a comment below and I'll do my best to get that up for you. So until next time, bye!